Hi, and welcome back to First Pitch. I'm your host, Ty Comer, along with Coach Ryan Brittle. Coach, I've got my travel gear on. We're ready to roll. It's opening day.
It is. It's going to be a beautiful day. We're headed up to Washington Lee to take on a quality team that's coming off a year, maybe one of the better years in the history. They finished third in the conference. They got pitching staff that returns most of their guys, and I know they're excited about. They opened up this past weekend with Averett with a split, and they're excited about getting their home opener underway. So we're excited to go up and see where we stand.
Right? Because they are receiving votes in a few polls, correct?
They are. They have a number one pitcher, Tom Conklin, who's a very, very good arm. Maybe the best pitcher in the ODAC, and had a solid year last year. Fortunately, we probably won't see him today, but they're a solid team. They got senior leadership, and they got a great coach, Lucas Jones, who's a good friend of mine. And he does a great job. So it'll be a good game, and we'll be excited just to be out playing somebody other than ourselves.
Without a doubt. So right after the show, we'll actually get on the bus. That's a 3 p.m. start today. I know I've got some family coming, so I'm excited about playing. As I'm sure a lot of the other guys are. I've heard so much stuff. We had a nice little lift last night that ended in a quality way with Braxton knowing the quote of the day on our board, getting us ready to roll. So I think everybody's just ready to go. So also we have CNU this weekend, 2:30 p.m. start Friday. We'll leave early in the morning on Friday, 1 p.m. Saturday, and noon on Sunday. So what do you know about CNU?
Well, we always know that Christopher Newport's going to be solid.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a long tradition of being very good. They've been to the World Series a few times. They play in a good conference with a good head coach, good assistant coaches. And so they're also receiving votes in some of the polls. And part of our plan as a coaching staff was we thought we were going to be solid this year, so we wanted the toughest schedule we could find. And I think we found it. So look forward to going down there. I know they've got some returning pitchers. They lost a couple guys on the mound, but they got some returning pitchers that will contribute on the mound. They also have a solid core offensive club coming back. So it'll be another good test for us, and I want to play the best teams that we can play with the best coaches and the best players, and see how well we hold up.
Right, and like you said, with them, I think they also started. Did they start 1 and 2 this weekend? They who did they play this?
They played Piedmont, Methodist, and Birmingham Southern this past weekend. So
right.
They started off with a tough schedule themselves, and took one game, I believe, from Methodist, in the third game of the weekend series down at Piedmont.
And you talked about tough schedule and picking up games with some of the hardest teams, some of the best teams, some of the most well-coached teams in the league and beyond the league. We're talking about a possible pickup game with La Roche.
La Roche, it's a possibility. When we go down to Fayetteville, the first time we play in a tournament with Frostburg and Montclair State, we need to add a fourth team to that tournament so everybody can play a single game every day, or at least get their 3 games in. And there's a possibility that we could play La Roche, who's ranked top 5 in the country, went to the World Series last year. So it would be exciting to get to play them along with Montclair, who's a very solid club, and Frostburg, who's always good.
Right. So we're going to start doing this for anybody that's out there watching that wants to be a little more involved in the show. We're going to do some questions. We got our first question from actually your brother, Eric. So if you ever have questions, email me at tcomer@ferrum.edu or Coach Brittle at rbrittle@ferrum.edu for any questions that you may have. Or, I don't have a problem putting my personal number out there. You can text me at 540-860-9229, and we'll try to get these questions out there. So the first one, like I said, was from your brother. He asks, how does a coaching staff balance playing JUCO transfers with college baseball experience under their belt already? with the development of underclassmen who could start given enough experience? And how do you decide who plays when and how much?
So there's probably like, what, 3 people that watch our show?
Yeah.
2 of them are relatives of mine, and the other one's a relative of yours.
Mine, correct.
So for the 3 people that are out there, if you have questions, send them in.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, God bless him, he calls me all the time asking about our team, and I love the fact that my family's so involved, including my brother, that they want to know about our club. But when we go out recruiting, the core of our team, we want to be kids coming out of high school. There are times in your program where you may have a young man that starts all the way through from his freshman to his senior year. Many times when you do that, or you might have a young man that leaves after a year or 2 that kind of makes a hole in a spot in your program. But and if that happens, then you go out and you try to fill that spot with as good a high school player as you can, and possibly a junior college kid that has experience playing baseball and can give you maybe a little bit more experience and a little bit more production their first year than a normal high school player would. So what we do is, we recruit the best players we can possibly get, and we recruit as many as we can possibly get. We want depth. We never want to go down. We always want to go up. So when we're looking at junior college players and the high school kids coming out of high school being freshmen in college, we just very blatantly, whoever's playing the best at that moment is going to be in the game. And if the junior college kid wins the job, then he gets to play. If the high school kid wins the job, then he gets to play. And a lot of times there'll be a case where you might we want to give guys rest. We want to be fresh at the end of the year. So there'll be guys that'll be part-time players. They'll give guys rest one game a week, or maybe 2 games a week, something like that. Or you could possibly have matchup. If you have a tough lefty on the mound that you're facing, you want to get your right-handed hitters in the lineup, so you try to have left-right matchups as well. So I don't know if that answers my brother's question at all, but that's essentially what we do. We have junior college players on our team. Most of them will contribute. We don't recruit junior college players. We don't go into recruiting junior college players thinking that they're going to come in and be backups. That's never a good situation to have an older guy that's coming into your program that you think is going to be a backup. So we recruit junior college guys that we think can come in and contribute right away. And so that's what we've done. And hopefully, guys like Michael Dorsonville, they're going to contribute. He's going to contribute this year, and other guys that are on our roster too. So
right, and we have those kind of situations with some JUCO guys that are right there, if not already in the lineup, and you can never have too much depth, I don't think. And so we talked about it before. You've got a nice little problem on your hands this year, because I think that's a huge strength of our team is our depth in just about every position. So a good thing to have for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, and another thing is, we have a full JV program. We're actually coming off a weekend series with Guilford Tech. Fantastic win. You were calling the game live online.
Might have got a little loud, so if we can work on that.
Christian Sowers hit a 3-run home run to walk off the first game of the series, and then the second game against Guilford Tech got away from us at the beginning a little bit, and so did the third game, so we lost the second and the third game against Guilford Tech, who swung the bats pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
But we're able to take the first game. So as far as development of our young guys, it is fantastic to see. There was probably 7 or 8 freshmen that got their feet wet in a JV, a tough JV weekend matchup with Guilford Tech, and got the jitters out and got their first hits under their belt and their first plays under their belt, first innings pitched under their belt. So that's a great way that we are lucky enough that our administration gives us the funding to do that, and we can develop our young players through the JV program.
Right, and that very first game of the year really kind of, in my opinion, set the tone for what could be a fantastic year that I'm hoping for. I'm sure you're excited too.
Yeah.
So
ready to get going.
We're all ready to get rolling, and hopefully for me this final campaign will be one that one to remember. So
we're going to get going right now. We're getting ready to get on the bus.
we're getting ready to get on the bus. So we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll discuss the games with Washington and Lee that we had that are going to have today. We'll talk about the weekend series with CNU, and then we'll also recap. I believe we play Guilford next Wednesday, and then the following weekend
the tournament at Fayetteville.
The tournament in Fayetteville. So we'll talk about that next Tuesday. Come on back and join us. Thanks for joining us this time. I'm Ty Comer along with head coach Ryan Brittle. This has been First Pitch.